And this poaching is a long mafia kind of chain, in the sense
Yeah.
everything is set. Who cuts the wood, then who transports
Yeah.
the wood, then who crosses the wood across the borders, and then who takes the wood to Gujarat, and then who finally is the end consumer of the wood. It's all entire network, institutionalized network.
So it's been a long, like we were planning to do these sessions and it's been happening after this day. It's really feel amazing.
One of the reasons was because I was in training and I was in a location
Yeah.
where internet is healthy. So
Yeah. Now I think everything is fine. So
yes.
the first question I want to ask to you, due to COVID or due to pandemic, every industry has accustomed with new forms of working. Some came to work from home and different ways. Did your sector, forest industry, had adapted something like that, or how you all are working nowadays?
Firstly, kudos to entire subordinates, the forest guards. They worked 100% every day throughout lockdown. And the way it affected us was because, you see, the funding has been cut. So there was this government resolution which said only 33% of your allotted budget should be done. So
Yeah.
forests, poaching, smuggling, these things don't wait for COVID or not. In fact, people started taking advantage of the fact that we were understaffed. So that way it became a little difficult for staff. You'll not believe most of our staff, they are not taking salaries since April and they're still
Oh
working.
my God.
Yes.
Hats off to these people. Like, really we have this sort of people. That's why we are growing day and day.
Right.
Really, hats off. So, how was your childhood and how was your born and brought up? If you can share your story.
Uh, Childhood, I came from middle class, lower to middle class, you can say. Both my parents are in government sector. Mom is a primary school
Okay.
teacher, dad works for BSNL. So that way it was very normal. And I didn't grow up with this idea that I would become civil servant one day and all. It became very haphazardly. But I was always studious, never into games. So I was very introvert kind of girl. And I really found myself after I joined the service and after the training. The training really opened me up.
Okay. So, where you born? Like, where were you born and your initial studies were done?
Yes. So I come from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. So I'm a Telugu.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
education until 12th, I did in Visakhapatnam only. Then I went to IT
Okay.
Kharagpur. There I finished my graduation. After that, I
Okay.
wanted to go for job, but my mom got sick and all, so I had to stay back. And then I started preparation in 2014, and I came here in 18.
Yeah. So now I think you are posted in somewhere in Nashik or where I don't know exactly.
Yes, this is my first posting. This
Oh,
is where I trained also,
oh,
and I
okay.
joined just a day ago. I'm yet to take full charge,
Yeah.
so it's brand
Okay.
new in the service.
Yeah. So how was your journey? Like if I talk about like as you said, you were born in Visakhapatnam, so a lot of your life has been spent there. Okay. Then you shifted to ID Kharagpur, which was in West Bengal. Another culture, another sort of everything diversity. Then now working in Nashik. Is there some way you got accustomed with the cultural barriers or what you learned from going to different states?
That's probably one of the reasons I don't consider myself an Andhraite or Telugu. I feel like I'm an Indian.
Okay.
In Vizag, I
Yeah.
studied. My department had people from North Indian states. The department in
Yeah.
college, that's North Indian states. So
Yeah.
most of my days used to go without having to speak in Telugu. And after that,
Yeah.
I went to Delhi for preparation. And then during our training, we really wandered a lot. It's like nomad
Yeah.
life that we had. So there I
Yeah.
realized most of us are all same. We had similar cultures, similar
Yeah.
petty things that we take care of, similar broad-mindedness,
Yeah.
inspiring people.
Huh.
So that way I feel very comfortable anywhere in India. I consider it my home.
So कहीं पे जाके इडली सांभर मिस नहीं करते हो आप?
I'd love if somebody gives me idli, but if they don't, I don't
Yeah.
complain. That's
That's the way.
government service, I don't complain.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, while in your training or your training days, you all get an abroad tour. I don't know which country you went during your training. When coming from that to India and working as an officer in India now, do you feel any difference we have with them? And if it is there, so what are the ways we can contribute that we can be similar to them?
Firstly, I'll tell you the countries that we go. So entire batch is divided into two groups, and one group goes to Spain and Italy, and the second group goes to Estonia, Russia, and Finland. So the groups are randomly allocated, and I was on the Spain and Italy leg. So most of the time we spent in Spain.
So you've been to Spain and Italy?
Yes. I was supposed to go to Spain and Italy, but the trip got short after Spain because of the COVID situation in Italy. Back then, Italy was a hotspot. So we spent about 10 to 12 days in Spain. And one thing I realized in Spain was we really are a hospitable country. Like we say, Vasudhaiva Kutumbam and all. So whenever you come, some guests visit your home, you just give water, chai, everything as matter of fact. There, one day we visited a big land baron, as in he held the highest amount of land by percentage in the country, private land. We went to his place, he didn't even offer water. He was all very sweet talking.
Really?
Yes, he did not offer us water. And even for washroom, we had to ask him, and he was like, he looked here and there and said, yeah, okay, fine, it's that way, you can go. So they're very closed people, and it's not that they're doing it with respect to us or they're being discriminatory. It's just that they don't fit. It's not that they're not there in the culture. It's their culture. Everything is so expensive there. 1 liter of water is like 2 to 3 euros, 1.5 euros. In fact, wine comes cheaper.
My goodness.
So maybe kind of way, hospitality is not one of the priorities. It's not in their culture.
Yeah, true. So, while I was planning this session with you, one question kept on my mind, and a lot of people also dropped a DM that ye sawal main humko zarur puchna. The question is, when we talk about forest and jungles, there's also another concern comes that's called poaching, So is it still there? What you suggest, like, is it still happening, or what are the steps taken by officers like you, or rather the government, to demolish poaching from, at least from our country?
Firstly, we cannot demolish poaching. As long as there's demand, there is some economy for it. If not outright, there is at least parallel economy, black economy. And it's actually a very interesting question you asked, because that's one of the most difficult parts of the service. Because I'll give you one example. There is this care, teak and care. You know teak, right?
Yeah.
Teak, logs and all. So the part where I did my training, it was full of teak forests, as in teak grows like weed. But you'll be surprised, there is not one tree which is over 10 or 15 years of age. Forests are like decades old, they should be trees decades old, but they're not there. Because most of them went into poaching. And this poaching is a long mafia kind of chain, in the sense, everything is set. Who cuts the wood, then who transports the wood, then who crosses the wood across the borders, and then who takes the wood to Gujarat, and then who finally is the end consumer of the wood. It's all entire network, institutionalized network. So what we do is, the field staff, every beat, as in every 2-3 villages has one field staff. So that person maintains contacts in the village. It's like tips that they get. So when you receive the tip, they wait for the offense to happen, because you can't go and arrest beforehand. You have to have the crime committed. So then they lay the trap. They keep 1 or 2 informers from who are working with them. We have them as informers, and then we constantly take and where they are, what they're doing, and then they stay in jungles for 2 to 3 days completely, because they are also very smart people. In front of the vehicle that is taking the wood, there are some like 5-10 pilot vehicles. They first go, and as soon as I cross anybody from the department, from government, or in suspicious one, they immediately change the route. So even if you know that person, that vehicle is such and such vehicle is taking the timber through this route, you'll still not be able to catch them, because it's mostly like Tom and Jerry, cat and mouse game, very tricky. And these people still manage to catch some vehicles, and it is even more difficult when it comes to tiger poaching. I should not say the price that each tiger skin fetches. It's very huge. It's not ethical to say, but the trade is so high, you just can't abolish them. All you can do is improve your network, strategize, empower your field staff to work well with it. Very tricky thing.
Yeah. So just quote me if I am wrong. I heard that there's a huge amount of poaching done with the teeth of elephant, like, and it's very costly.
Ivory, yes. Yeah, ivory is very costly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, tell me.
I personally don't have. I did not experience that part because Maharashtra, this part does not have any elephants. But yes, I know about one-horned rhino. It's there in Kaziranga.
Yeah.
So it's actually very sad because the rhinoceros, it's 1.5 to 3-4 tons, and it has one small horn. It's 700 grams. People kill entire animal just for that one small horn. And the pictures, they're really sad. How can he be so unempathetic? Yeah.
So, like, well, you were talking like they have an amazing chain, everything is so particularly distributed. The guy will take it from here to there and there to there. So, a lot of informers also play a role in between. So, how, if you can just, if it's possible for you, if you can just give a brief idea how you people go around them, because as you say, they also make sometimes go round and round.
Yes. So in police department and forest department, there are some special funds, like secret funds, you can say, that we can use to give money to those informers, which will help us with the tip-offs. So this is being done from the field staff, because each field person, forest guard that we say, the lowest rank of the service. So that person goes to the villages, maintains personal contacts, and gives some incentives of the financial, some money that they give. And then they take, in the sense, a forest guard knows everything happening in a village. So the network is so strong. Still, if you have seen on Twitter sometime these days, Karnataka Forest Department has posted a picture where there are very.
Recently I have seen it.
Yes. So those people have all the liberty to be so advanced, but we don't. We have the same INSAS rifle. We have the same difficulties when we fire. We have to follow very long procedure when we fire. So we have limitations, and they have free, and they have like demand. They have a lot at stake. So somewhere it is difficult to match these two. We're always playing catch up, and they're always ahead of us. So even then, there are some outstanding officers who are very good at the leadership. They maintain good networks, and they have really managed to tackle this, especially the Red Sanders in Andhra Pradesh or Tigers in Maharashtra, really doing well.
Yeah, true. Damn true. Like, hats off to you people also, that you all are doing an amazing job, and all the officers, those who are doing it. Yeah. So, while you were saying this thing, suddenly one thing came to my mind. Like, being a girl, you didn't feel scary? Like, as you said, it's a game of catching up and holding things. Sometimes you people also get tricked by these people. And we all come in India, there is a style that girls, you are going into a field job, family will be like, why need to get a job in the office and chill and have some chill in your life? So how you took it and how you overcome if you got any pressure from the family or peer pressure?
I actually belong to the exact same family that you were describing, because when I got a seat in IIT, my mom said, why do you have to go to IIT? You have got a free seat in Andhra University, so why not go there?
Okay.
This was when people were dying to go to IIT and people would not get a seat to go to IIT. And mom said, just go, leave that and go for this. So I came from that. And even 1 year before I got into the service, mom was like, no, you have to get married. You're crossing your mid-20s. You have to, there is this lecturer guy in this college. So I think the horoscope really matches. You have to take a look at it. So all the drama happened. But I personally am very excited about field jobs. I cannot sit at the desk and then check files whole day, because this gives purpose. This gives some adrenaline kick that you're doing some activity, you're going catching some thieves, you're doing something good for the nation. So all the things are very exciting, and no amount of desk job for personally matches me with respect to satisfaction.
Yeah. So now, what happens to your family? Well, now what they say to you?
They're very happy now. They're very happy.
Now they don't say anything like, no, don't go there, be careful.
No, now they see all the perks associated with the service, that relatives all approve of them, of
Yeah,
me. So I
yeah.
think peer pressure takes a lot of toll on parents. It's not what they feel; it's mostly what the relatives, extended family thinks of them. That factor plays a lot of role. Now they're very happy.
Yeah. So, while you're training, you all do a lot of attachments like attachments, DM attachments, Naxalite attachments. Like, if you can say or describe something like that.
Attachments are two kinds. One, when we are in academy, we go to other academies and then get the exposure there. And second, once we come to the cadre, the 4 months training in the cadre, there we
Uh,
do it.
uh,
When we were in academy, we went like all over the place, all over the country. Like we went to NPA, National Police Academy, for weapons
yeah.
and crime detection module. We
Okay.
went to Amity for learning how to be on social media, how not to be on social
Acha.
media.
Okay. Okay.
So we had that attachment. We went to IM Lucknow because most of the service is human management, how you be a good leader. So there we went. And then we went to a lot of places like Valley of Flowers or even Timli. There we went to learn mensuration exercises, as a lot of calculations
Yeah.
and this, all the technical part of the service. So there. And in tours, we went to about 66 cities. We traveled over tens of thousands of kilometers by road. We saw India
Oh my God.
really, really. You cannot imagine that a person can travel that much in 1 year. So we
Yeah.
have over 5 days of travel itself. Just 1 or 5 days, you just travel on road. And then you go to all corners, east, west, north, south. So
Okay.
that, and this is all in the academy. And once you
Yeah.
come after the academy in the cadre, it's not as
Yeah.
intensive in the sense
Yeah.
you have DM attachment. You go stay with the collector and see how he works. You go stay with SP for some time and then see how he works. In the sense,
Yeah.
all the field areas, all India services, IAS, IPS, IFS. So these three people have to work together because these are the three services at top in any district. So
Yeah.
as long as the coordination between them, each can help each other. So that's why, in fact, even foundation course happens because they want all civil services across
Yes.
services to mingle, to mingle and
Yeah.
then work really well on field. So that way,
Yes.
these are the two attacks.
Okay. So basically, you all get a chance to learn also, staying practically on the field.
Yes.
Yeah. So now talking to your life story, in this your profession, it's an hectic schedule. You all people are doing, as you said, like while we were talking a few days back that it not be possible to do the session because internet is a privilege there. So this things comes now. How you manage your personal life and your professional life then?
I'm not a very good person to say that because my husband works with
Yeah,
me. He's also
yeah,
in for a service
I
and
know
we
it.
posted together.
I,
We train together. So for a lot of them, this is luxury.
he's an
Just being in
amazing photographer, by the way. I really love his pictures.
he's an amateur, but he's
Yeah,
really run very. So yes,
yeah,
he's
he
with me.
clicks very. Yeah,
Until now, I did not have that difficulty yet. But yes,
yeah,
it is possible because once you go up in your cadre, in your promotion, so in district there can be only one DCF. So you
yes,
both can't be posted in one district. So that happens with all India services. And usually, if the government is pro, then they give you side by side districts. You still will
yeah.
not be able to talk every day because your field emergencies can be very different. Your have demands are very different. So that way it's
Right.
difficult, but ultimately you have to manage. As you go on, you just do it on the fly. You don't have a set pattern.
Okay, okay. So I think you will be the right person to talk about this. Uh, Forests or jungles plays a huge role for tourism because nowadays a lot of people are attracted that rafting and trekking, camping. And there are also some people. You people are doing an amazing job to get it more attractive for us. But there are also some people, doing something wrong. To if I talk about poaching, terrorism, or what are the things. How you manage, or how you all are? You want to say that you all are balanced to with these people and tourism and attract tourism more in forest departments or in jungles?
Firstly, I should tell you, whatever tourism you consider wild is wild. The
Yeah,
experience that
true,
you in
true.
wild, oh God, you will not get in any star hotels or any
Yeah,
artificial setup. So, especially now, after the lockdown has happened, people are thriving for that or craving for that kind of wild experience. Just to go out, being very extensive place where you don't find a human anywhere. So that kind
yeah,
is happening, and I'm glad you brought the ecotourism part, because you see, only forest department, this forestry has 23% land in India, and rest of the
yeah,
places are very crowded. And if
yeah,
population keeps on growing, there's only one place to
yeah,
go, that is going to the forest. It's very hard for us to protect forests, and especially if you see, there are forest dwellers inside forest areas. There are tribal people. So what we're essentially asking is, you protect forests for us, we'll have good air, and then we keep on constructing in the areas in the urban jungles. So that, in my
oh,
opinion, is unfair. You can't have people
okay,
living in forest penalize and then save forests for you at the expense of their livelihood. That's
yeah,
not right. So what the government has come up, in fact, international bodies have come up, is this idea of ecotourism. The main point of ecotourism is, apart from giving you touristic experience, enjoyment to people, you also help local people there. You provide livelihood to them. You make them work as like tour guides or homestays, always in which you have
sort of vocal
tourism
for
pleasure.
local.
Local for local, absolutely.
Yeah,
So it's based on the concept that if somebody is conserving something for you, they just have to be paid for the fact
yeah.
that they're conserving it for you. So that happens in ecotourism, and I believe ecotourism is a way forward in tourism industry and also in sustainable development.
Yeah. True, true, really true. Now I want to ask you something, all the offices, I'm talking about you, all the bureaucrats whom I have done the session till now, and everybody, you all are amazingly trained you all are amazingly trained, and you went through so much of drills and exams and preparation. But the first day you get a charge of particular district or area, चीजें बदल जाते हैं. Like, people don't understand, like, he came for the first time as an officer. People want the change on the single night. If like I used to ask this question too, especially for the IPS officers as well. Like, when they get a posting and something happens, if any murder or political agenda, people want the solution in the same night, but they don't understand. Like, he just got the charge. It's his first day or it's his first month. It takes time. Same thing happens with you too. It takes time to understand the thing, which is quite obvious. And nowadays, due to social media and other platforms, sometimes you cannot say the truth or say the right thing. People get to take things into controversies. Okay, so how do you react on it, or how do you want to give it as an answer to all the upcoming officers?
Like I said, we had this module in Amity University to deal with social media. So these were exactly the
Yeah, yeah,
these were the things that they were trying to train us. But I think social media is trickier than a module. It's difficult to
yeah,
understand
true.
the depth. Recently, you might have seen some lady IS officer. She got under a big controversy for going into a temple and performing havan. So it's very much possible she did that in good faith,
Yeah,
or it was not
yeah,
as bad as people portrayed it to be. But just
yeah,
because there was some post, and in some post one line read that she taught, the word taught, I think, was the key there. So people took big offense. Who is she to teach us? Who is she to teach peace? So it all blew out of proportion. So everyone's looking for some controversy, some fun, some,
yeah,
what do you say, sadistic pleasure, I think.
yeah,
So social media has given a big platform for it, and unfortunately, civil servants are very much in the limelight for it. Once you occupy
yeah,
a chair, people expect you to know everything that is needed to be on the chair. They don't give you learning time. Learning curve is not mattered at all. But I think, on the other hand, you also don't learn until you're on the chair.
yeah,
So you get it. You might have seen a lot of police officers saying they start usually with when I was SP, because that is where you maximum you get the exposure in maximum way. And
yeah,
And I don't know what else to say.
By the way, happy anniversary to you. Thank you for reminding it. I also saw it. Yeah. So, uh, you know, uh, as a normal person, I want to ask this question. Whenever we see any bureaucrat or any government officials, we just see the glamour or the perks. I think you might also heard like a lot of people saying, तुम लोगों को क्या टेंशन है जंगल में कैंप मिलता है बंगलो मिलता है गाड़ी मिलता है but sometimes we don't portray the hard work you people are saying, you people are doing. So I will be glad like if you can share the real story behind the glamour.
Glamour part is a bit right because you do get the
Yeah,
bungalow, you do get people, driver, vehicle,
yeah,
everything. But point is, why is government giving you that? Because they're expecting you to be on duty 24/7. You
yeah,
can't say it's 6 o'clock, I have to go home, I have to cook dinner. That is not given. So they are giving you a cook so that you don't give this excuse. They are giving you driver so that you don't say, I have driven long and I'm tired. So there are no free lunches, as they say. So whatever you are
yeah,
being given, you are being paid also. And these field jobs, I tell you, come with a lot of responsibility because you have a lot of, what do you say, vicarious responsibility? No.
yeah,
Something that the subordinates do in any form, even if they sign one wrong check, it will come to you. They
yeah,
are responsible probably in their personal way, but ultimately people above you, they call you, politicians call you, superiors call you. So that way, responsibility is the biggest. The pressure that you take, the stress that you take are so big that after sometimes you just look for your driver. You don't enjoy the fact that you have driver. You see the difference,
yeah,
right? After a while, it becomes essential because otherwise you can't spend your 24 hours on duty there. So I
yeah.
feel I also, when the first thing I thought when I got into service was that, oh, I don't have to cook anymore. I'll have someone to cook for me. But now
Yeah.
I realize it's not as easy.
Okay. So I want to ask you a funny question, you might be having a lot of friends from your childhood days, your collegehood days, and these friends are very, like they जिंदगी में आप कितना भी success ले लो, you achieve so much of things, they will never give that respect, that friendship. So कभी कभी होता है कि आपके साथ, they are planning to go to Kaziranga or any of the places and they are calling you, सुनना, please arrange some rooms there. Or if you say no, it's not possible, this is not my job, and they will be, फिर क्या फायदा तू IFS बन के? If this happens like this?
I'm very sure it will happen, but it does not happen thanks to Karuna. But yes,
Yeah, yeah,
but I think it's very nice for you to be doing something for your friends because they've taken good care
yeah,
of you when you are doing your preparation. I had a lot of friends who would give me money because back then I was preparing, I was not making money, I was not earning. So I used to have some odd expenses and they would give. And they would always call me up when when I failed in my exam, when I didn't clear an exam. So they would be there. So after all that, you just feel very nice that you could do something for them. So that's nice feeling.
yeah. That's true. So, in your job, it's totally a transferable job. Like you are today somewhere, you might be in some places, after 1 year or 6 months. So when you come to know that I will be transferred to this particular area or this particular place, so what sort of homework goes in your mind? Like, what should I take care and how to be more perfect on that area?
You said 6 months and 1 year. No, that's not true. You can be transferred tomorrow. You can be transferred
Oh my
right
God,
now and
really?
be. Absolutely. Transfers and all very fickle in a way. You don't have
Okay.
any preparation time, packing time, nothing. You get a transfer,
Oh,
you just, as you are, you go, you sign there, and then you come back, pack, and then take your luggage there.
okay. Just pack your bags
So,
and go.
yes, always on the go, right?
Yeah. So, you know, there's another question I want to ask you is, we all love to talk about achievements. Like, I achieved this thing in life. I got a medal. I got this thing. And especially I want to ask it due to social media, a lot of people show their good things. Like I achieved this thing. I bought a car. I don't want to say anything bad about that. It's everybody's personal issue. But somewhere we don't like to talk about failure. We all think twice to show our failure in front of social media or to other people. So I want to ask you, if you ever failed in your life, how you overcome that thing, and if you can share the story, because it's gonna be learning for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Actually, I felt so many times. After a while, I thought, okay, nothing worse can happen.
Yeah.
I hit the rock bottom, so nothing worse can happen. So that happened, and mostly because as a child, I used to be very good at studies. I would be class topper, this and that. Until college, I was that. After that, my failure started from the time I started preparation. And like I told you, my mom fell ill in 2013.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed with cancer. So I
Okay.
had to come back. I stayed home. And after that, she recurred in 16. And my dad also was operated in the same year. And I have a sister who is mentally challenged in the sense
Okay.
some diagnosis treatment mistake in her childhood. So that ended up her challenge that way.
Yeah.
So mom is always worried about that. And I have a brother who is very young, as in 2013, he was still in
Yeah.
school. So
So you
that
were the
way,
eldest child.
I was a list, yes. So that way, it was all
Yeah.
at one point of time became very overwhelming. I had to look after my mom. We used to roam around cities for different kinds of treatment, and each treatment would take about 8 months. So that would put a stop to my preparation.
Huh.
And after that, even when I gave the attempt, when I didn't get through, my parents are like, "You're wasting your time for us. You have to get married. This is not the way for you to go. How long can you wait
Yeah.
for it?" All these things
Yeah.
happen. And all the things like my parents stopped going to all those weddings and all because people would just ask one thing. If it's a
Yeah.
guy, when it's a job, if it's a girl, when she getting married. So they
Yeah.
stopped going. And even if people came to my house, I just didn't like the sounds of pity. You're still preparing. How long will you prepare? This kind of
Yeah.
things you don't want it around you. They're not very positive vibes to have with them. So I would not want to talk with people, talk with relatives. So all the things happen. It's not easy. For some people it gets easy. They click in first attempt or they just get it easy. But for most of people there is a lot of struggle. In
Yeah.
fact, worst part, even after a lot of struggle, they don't make it. I know friends who've given 5, 6 attempts, putting their life in stagnancy, and they still haven't gotten through. So yes, it's really, really difficult for many people going through beating odds to be where they are now.
Yeah. True. Like this is really an inspirational story for a lot of people. Like so much of hard work, but you never felt like low down, and you kept on going, kept on going. Like hats off to you for this particular thing. So there's two more questions I want to ask you, and I don't want to take much of your time. So my second last question will be, do I think I know like all the IFS officers also get arm trained, and like why is it necessary particularly on the field just to have, like tackle with the poachers or any other necessities there?
It's not necessarily tackle with poachers because you're in administrative grade. Usually the ones tackling
Yeah.
poachers are your subordinates, like forest guards or range officers particularly. So they do it. But training is important
Yeah.
because you have to know what goes into firing an arm. And you have to have the
Yeah.
confidence of being able to fire an arm in self-defense. In self-defense, every citizen has the right to fight. So that way, it gives you confidence. That's absolutely needed. And for the same reason, even IS people get training. IPS people anyway get training because they have their
Yeah.
arm.
So my last question to you, we are going through a phase of pandemic, lots of ups and downs, and a lot of things are going. As you said, somewhere for some people, the world is everything with mobile, Netflix, and the social media. But you lead a life like I know I used to love trekking. Now it don't happen. So I know how the life is in the jungles. It sometimes doesn't bother you. You don't have an internet connection, or rather your mobile connection. So what sort of tips you want to give to the youth connecting that there is a life outside this constructed jungle? Like we nowadays stay in a city with a constructed jungle, rather than to come out and see the real world.
Yes. Actually, I'll tell you one thing. One day I was really down. It happens, one of those bad phases that you have. I was down.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go to work. I could not take leave because I was the head there, and getting leave is
yeah,
not so easy.
yeah,
So, for various reasons, I was so depressed that day in the morning. I didn't want to get up, and then I decided I'd call one of my guards and said, "Let's go on beat inspection today." So I went there around 9 or 10, and it was 8 kilometer trek. It was very difficult. I even got lost in between, and we came back around 3 or 4. and it usually gets either raining or the sun starts setting. And throughout it, I was very tired. I was sweating like a pig, but I never felt more energetic.
Yeah.
Because the kick that you get by being with nature is unimaginable. As in, you're